Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B.Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy Kool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. It's Wednesday, and you know what time it is. It's time once again for your favorite sports podcast. This is the Sports Bros Podcast. I go by the name of the head of creative here, Eddy Kool, and the South Carolina Gamecocks. We won. Yes, we won.
We're not starting. We're not starting the show like that.
I'm the B.Live. I'm the host. Hey!
I don't start the show with Clemson. We get to it on roads, but you just gonna come off rip. That's how we're gonna start the show. Okay, go ahead. My bad. You know, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Y'all don't get to celebrate that much. So go ahead.
That's a big win, B.Live. I had to celebrate something this past weekend because something happened Monday that was way overdue. But we'll get into that. And of course, you know, I can't do this by myself. I have not only one, but two of the best co-hosts in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first the guy that cut off my intro, my little impromptu monologue, the almighty B.Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Yes, I cut it off because we are an equal opportunity haters. That's what we do on the show anyway. We spend half our time on the show hating on the other team and doing all these things. Like, I promise you, at some point in time, I will hate on the Dallas Cowboys.
Uh-oh.
So just be prepared.
No.
Yes. See, and just like that, my monologue is interrupted, just like yours was. That's how we do things. And now I get to insult him in the way I know how. Go ahead and introduce the other guy so he can sing us a song about something ridiculous, and we could do what we do 175 episodes strong. Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, if I don't care what song he sings, nothing's gonna top doing the butt. Sexy. Nothing's gonna top that.
Ooh, boy, almost took me out. That was hilarious. But yeah,
it was a classic.
What you got for us? Let's do it.
Here he is, the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. He is the one, the only, the assistant athletic director at the Trinity High School. Go Healers. He is the money man, Scottie D.
Because this is thriller night, and no one's going to save you from the beast. It's about to strike. Boys, I'm seeing the weather cool down, the jack-o'-lanterns, the scarecrows, the candy corn. Ugh. You know, it's that time of year. It's baseball playoffs are on, and I got to give a shout out to my Lady Healers, the soccer team, because our team. Ordinarily, the other teams are showing up and treating them like Devontae Adams treats a cameraman. Ooh. But they got a win last week. They went out and scored. They got a W, and I was very proud of those girls for fighting their way to victory. They just fight. And I was very proud of the Lady Healers last week for getting their first victory of the season. It's baseball playoff time.
You're not supposed to say it like that. That like they just so you're telling me they get pushed over and then they decide to sue afterwards and file a police report.
Not quite that extent. Maybe too soon for the Devontae Adams reference. But anyway, I was proud of our girls for getting a win last week, and it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you just in high school you run into a tougher opponent or a team that's more equipped at a certain sport. But our girls went out and fought, so I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of you, the Sports Bros, for putting up with me, even though I called you my supporting cast last week. But anyway, I digress. I got that one by you last week, B.Live. So anyway. Baseball playoffs are on, boys, and NFL. Let's get the train on the tracks here and talk some sports here, guys.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the train on the tracks. And with that being said, y'all, let's go ahead and hop right into it. This is the top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. All right, now as we mentioned, baseball playoffs, it's in full swings. We already have a wild card series. It's over and done with. Now on to the divisional round. But first, the world of the National Football League. And you know what, fellas? The thing, it's been a whole lot going on in the world of the NFL. Like, to the point where I'm, in the words of Tommy Rich, somebody say something about getting fired up. It got me kind of fired up, fellas. Like, out of everything that happened this weekend in the NFL, what has you fired up? Scottie D, we'll start with you first. What got you fired up? Oh,
boy.
That Cowboys defense got me fired up. Micah Parsons got me fired up because I was not expecting 4 wins on the morning after week 1. I really wasn't. I mean, Dak went down with a broken thumb. He looked terrible anyway. And Trey Duke's hero, Cooper Rush, to the rescue. By the way, our friend Trey Duke, the big Dallas Cowboy fan, he's been doing some moonlighting. He's spread himself around. He's been like a podcast talk show slut lately. He was on ESPN radio talking about Cooper Rush being better than Dak. Anyway, we'll have a little bit more of his nonsense coming up here later in the show. But yeah, I'm fired up because I was not expecting the Cowboys to be 4-1. That's for sure. A play happened in that game that fired me up. And that was late in the game. The Rams were trying to get down the field. Who was it? Dorrance Armstrong, one of the Cowboys linemen, hit Matthew Stafford in the shoulder as he released the ball and was fined 15 yards for roughing the passer. That was egregious, but not as bad as the one on Monday Night Football when, was it Jones of the Chiefs came up behind and grabbed him from behind. And as he went down, he let go. And they still threw a 15-yard penalty flag on him. I don't know where his body's supposed to land. I mean, you can't defy physics when you're halfway through the sack. And then an even more egregious one happened on Sunday afternoon when Tom Brady and the Patriots were stopped giving Atlanta the ball back. Atlanta was going to get a chance. I'm not going to say Atlanta was going to go down the field and beat the Buccaneers, but they had a chance. They were in the game. They were down 6. It was a few minutes ago. And one of the worst calls you're ever going to see, if you want to just say, I want to see someone do their job really, really poorly, go watch the video of this clip as the Falcons defender, and his name escapes me. I should have had it at the top of my mind. But he grabs Brady basically around the waist, spins and pretty much pulls Brady on top of himself on the way to the ground, and on the way through, Brady rolls over him and hits the ground, and he's flagged. Now they make a rule here because the quarterback is the most valuable position pretty much in all of sports. They make a rule to protect that position because that guy is a franchise, and that is a good rule. But these guys are not enforcing the rule the way it's supposed to be made, because you cannot hit the quarterback low. You cannot hit the quarterback high. You cannot hit the quarterback in the head. You cannot drive him to the ground and land on him with all of your weight. You cannot grab him and slam him to the ground. And this guy did none of that, and yet he's still flagged. The job is to go after the quarterback and stop the other team from advancing the football so you can get the ball then and go the other way with it. And that's what happened in this case. And you still get flagged for it. And the Falcons never got the ball back. They never had the opportunity to win the game. Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford and David Carr all signed up to play football. It's a physical sport. These are not golfers. If another golfer would tackle a golfer on the course, I would expect them to have some type of penalty. If you attack the pitcher for throwing the ball and hitting you in baseball, there should be some kind of penalty, thrown out of the game, whatever. But when your job is to tackle somebody and they make it almost impossible to do it without hurting, by not letting you hit them high, low, and you still follow the rules, and you still get the NFL has to do something. I'm fired up now. The more I talk about it, the more I'm getting fired up. And it's Roger Goodell and his stupid mindset that leads the pack here. And by the way, Roger Goodell quit taking games to Europe. Now he's talking about putting a team in Europe, and some British British Froggy Clown decided, oh, you know what? We also have a division over here. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So now you're going to put 4 teams in Europe, Goodell, you goof? You're going to have a hard enough time getting one free agent to go across the pond and play over there because you know why? They don't care. They play football, and it's not what we play. It's a different thing that they care about over there called football. And I'm getting a little bit off track. I'm fired about too many things. B.Live, go ahead.
Somebody say something about getting fired up. We just got us some money.
Anytime I talk about Goodell, I get fired up. I just started going too far down the rabbit hole. Go ahead, B.Live. Tell me what you fired you up for the weekend.
I love it.
I love it. And I'm going to piggyback off of one thing because roughing the passer was called on Tom Brady. I'm on a player that tackled Tom Brady. Roughing the passer was against a player that tackled Derek Carr. Who else was it? It was one more.
The Cowboys and Stafford.
Yeah. You know who didn't get called for roughing the passer and was by far the ugliest thing we've seen all year?
Who?
The player that tackled Tua. Did you ever see that?
I think you're right.
Rough. That was roughing the passer because he got slung. That was ugly. And
that might have been what led into these calls.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that's why I wanted to lead up to that, is that they're overcorrecting. Stop. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't overcorrect, because now you're literally bringing more attention to where y'all got it dead wrong. You were wrong. We're wrong. Not only did y'all just fired the one guy that was the third party, blah blah. Well, it was UNC, unaffiliated neurological such and such. I don't know what the C stands for, but they fired him and try to brush it under the rug and say, "Oh, we're going to change the concussion protocols." And now you're overcorrecting with the referees. Is bad. It is bad for the sport. Stop it. What you also gonna stop doing, for the love of humanity. I don't even know why this was even thought to be good football. I don't want to see, and we got to suffer through it yet another week of the Denver Broncos playing prime time football.
Broncos country. Broncos country. Let's ride. Let's ride.
No, God. Yeah. They're so far not on the same page. It's comical. It's almost as bad as my Carolina Panthers, and they are bad. They're god-awful. But, man, Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson and his wide receivers, they are so far not connected whatsoever that is comical. And we're coming up on week 6 now. And the Broncos have had, and it coming up Monday night will be their 4th prime time game.
They're not on Monday night again, are they?
Yes, they are, against the Chargers. That's why I'm fired up, because Thursday was horrible and it went into overtime.
Oh, Lord.
And we get to watch them again on Monday night. And unfortunately, I have to watch it because I got to have content.
That was a terrible performance by both teams on Thursday, but
you
expect a little better from Russell Wilson. That was awful. That was awful to watch.
Like the flex should happen from week 1. We should be able to say, hey, this team is not who we thought they were. They do not get it. Let's switch it up. Like, I could tell you some games that stand out that we never thought would have stood out. The New York Giants versus the Packers. That was a great game. Like, the Chargers versus the Browns. Like, I mean, some games just stood out. Like, and we actually, the Bengals Ravens, good Lord. We don't know what's going on with them.
It's a good primetime game.
Yeah. So,
but B-Live, to get back to my rant though, The Packers and Giants are on at 9:00 in the morning. I'm in church. I'd like to have watched that game. Don't put that on at 9:00 in the morning, because now you're asking me to watch football from 9 a.m. to like 11 p.m. on Sunday. You're trying to get me to watch 16 quarters worth of football straight all day. You just added an extra time slot because there's no market expansion in the United States. We have maxed out. Everybody watches football or plays fantasy football or knows what's going on with football. And so they said, you know what? Well, how are we going to expand the market? We are not rich enough. Let's go to Europe. Go ahead.
I feel you on that. Like, I forgot. And you know me, I've been trying to be very active with the Sports Bros live thread. And I'd be like, nobody woke me up and told me about this. And now I'm up. I literally was up from, as you say, I've been up from 8:00 in the morning all the way until midnight, trying to make sure that I have all this content for this lovely podcast. Let's dial back London, because on top of that, they don't really care about the actual teams that are playing. If you see in the stands, they're wearing whatever jersey they have. I've seen a Browns jersey. I've seen a Panthers jersey. I've just seen just jerseys. It almost looks like the third world countries whenever a team loses the Super Bowl and they get the leftover stuff. That's what it looked like in London. I said what I said. God save the king, because it's no longer the queen. I said what I said. I don't care. Eddy Kool, please track this thing, because see, Scottie D took me off on a tangent. I be trying to be cool. I can't. I really just can't be cool about the Broncos country.
We're expanding our schedule. We're adding additional games now. We're not playing 16.
Hold on. Let me get this one. Let me get this one, because let me say this, because I know you're going to agree with me on this. Because we're expanding with the 17 games, we have one less preseason game. You know what that leaves us with? It leaves us with really crappy football, because they're not practicing during the preseason. We've gotten really bad football across the board.
Now we're finally getting into where they're supposed to be now, and we're like 4 or 5 weeks in. That's why preseason was there designed in the first place.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at though was that with the expansion of the extra week, you're only getting 8 home games a year anyway. Now you might every other year you get 9, but you're taking one of those off of us. And cities are building new stadiums, so we have more economy. If you don't build us a stadium, we're going to pull a Rams and leave you behind St. Louis and go to L.A. Where we get a shiny new stadium. They're raking taxpayers over the coals, right, to fund the new stadiums, and they say, we're going to take one of them off of you this year. We're going to go over to England because Real Madrid's not playing over there this weekend. So they got nothing to do. Why are we doing that? Anyway.
Easy. Real Madrid is in Spain, mind you. And that's a whole different country.
Shows how much I thought they all played in England. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I thought the whole league was in England. I thought it was an English. Isn't it English Premier? And they all go over there and play.
The Premier League is one of several football leagues.
Okay.
There's the English Premier League. That's England. Yeah, was the La Liga? That's Spain. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's
Copa del Mundial.
So
as you can see, I care about that as much as they care about the NFL because they're wearing Browns jersey at the Packers game.
Just like we have the MLS, most countries have their own professional soccer league. So I get what you're trying to say. Like Spain has their own league. Okay. Italy has their own league. Germany has their own league. Yes, they don't deserve NFL football.
Right, exactly.
At all. Just bring it back to.
I should have said Liverpool.
That's Liverpool. That is the English Premier League.
Yeah.
And Fields, go Reds. You'll never walk alone.
Eddie, talk about football. Hurry up, talk about football.
I got you. All right. This to piggyback off you guys, man. Yeah. Something that did make me, got under my skin, made me aggravated was these bad calls, especially by the one, the only, the legendary Jerome Booger himself. Every time he turned around, he's always in the middle of some mess and not some good mess. Like, I remember when I was playing high school football many years ago. I think, who was it against Darlington? Yes, I played for North Myrtle Beach, and we had a road game against Darlington at their homecoming. By the way, since I want to mention that. And the court, and I think I lined up at edge rusher, pinned my ears back, I'm going towards the quarterback. And so the quarterback, I think the ball was like maybe, I don't know, maybe like 3 feet from his hand, and I got him and I ran into him. They wanted a roughing the passer penalty. They didn't get it. Because he was still in throwing motion. I mean, the quarterback it was open season. I laid one on him and didn't get flagged for it. But now I'm seeing some of these roughing the passer penalties and like, wait a minute, they're hitting, they're wrapping up. Prime example when the Brady sack. When Brady got sacked, he got him around the waist, because sometimes, when you're fighting off that blocker, you're grabbing. You're grabbing at that waist, that jersey. You get another hand free, you lock on that waist, and you bring him down. So I'll give credit to it. It was Grady Jarrett. I give credit to Grady Jarrett for not, German suplexing him to the ground. He actually, got him down, and Tom Brady was smart enough to put his left arm down and kind of break the fall a little bit. And everything was cool and fine and dandy. But no, it was roughing the passer, and Jerome Boger deemed it unnecessary. If you ask me, the league is getting SAWFT soft. Oh. I understand protecting the quarterback, but there's some other guys on defense, they get paid to stop the opposing team from scoring. So let them do what they do. Another thing that kind of had me fired up, but not so really, well, not really fired up, something that was going to happen, I said by week 6, he's not going to last. Carolina, they finally decided to get Matt Rule ass up out of there. He had to go 11-27. Here it is. We have everybody healthy. Damn near everybody healthy for the first time in forever. And here it is. The defense is healthy. The offense is pretty decent. We got a new quarterback at the helm, starting brand new, funky, fresh, cool, and fly. But now here we are sitting at last place in the National Football League, not with all that talent we got. And so here it is. Now I'm seeing things on Twitter about the Buffalo Bills asking about Christian McCaffrey. I'm hearing things about Brian Burns want to leave. I'm hearing things about DJ Moore want to leave. I mean, this is an official rebuild mode. But the fact that, like, you waited this long to get Matt Rule out of there, I look at it like this, man. You can't, what you did in college, it can't really transition well to the NFL because it's different. These are grown men, these are millionaires, and they'll tell you where to go and how to get there. Real quick, fast, in a hurry, as to where the kids in college, they're impressionables. But impressionable. But with this NIL deal, like, you ain't paying me. I got this, I'm the coldest to ever do at Crawford. And I got a heating company and an AC company named Image and Likeness Deal. You got a name Image and Likeness Deal, Scott Frost? I bet you don't. You could have with a last name like Frost, but you don't. But what I'm getting at here is that, I'm really I'm
gonna reel you back. I don't know where you went. I don't know where you was going.
Get it. Frost, AC, the coldest. I did it. It's just the fact, like, you got a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, not the biggest dude in the world. Why is him and Slick McAdoo, not Ben McAdoo, Slick McAdoo, because he goes and does his hair like this in the morning and it's ugly and I can't stand it. Why do you have this man standing back in the pocket like he's Phillip Rivers, like he's Matt Ryan, like he's Ben Roethlisberger? The dude might be 5'9" on a good day, okay? You know what Cliff Kingsbury is doing in Arizona? They got Kyler moving around in the pocket. They got him moving around in the pocket. you should be doing the same thing in Carolina. Moving him. I mean, Baker's athletic enough to move him around in the pocket and not have him there looking like a sitting duck. You know what? Monday morning, that was the best news I got. It happened at 11:17, and that made my day. I usually don't wish for people to get fired, but it's got to go.
You got to be good at your job. Here's one thing. One thing I will say about this. I don't want anybody to lose their job. But if you're bad at it and it causes more harm than good, you have got to go. I think, like, I know Scott has been a manager at a restaurant before. I've been a manager at a restaurant before. It's not the easiest thing to fire somebody, but if it's me or you got to go. I'm gonna keep my job because I got I need this restaurant to make money, and I need to make money. And when you see half the stadium filled with the other team's colors, you're not making money for your local product, and it's going to get worse. And he finally came to his senses. Well, not really, because then he turned around in the press conference like, "Oh yeah, I brought music to the Charlotte before. They didn't have music before I got here because they had a few concerts at Bank of America Stadium." And then, we got to develop a winning culture. We've had a winning culture before you got here. And then what have you done since you've been the owner, Mr. My bad. This is your part. And I don't, buddy. Amtrak. I apologize. I did it again.
I mean, we just some long-suffering Carolina Panthers fans. It's just the fact that you can't. Hey, like you said, it's either them or it's either you or me. And, for him to say that, well, we bought music here, we bought music there. Look, music has been coming to Charlotte way before the Panthers or even an afterthought. Cut it out, David Tepper. Cut it out. It's just, I don't know, man. Some stuff got to happen, man. I am not happy with what I see on the field. We are terrible. Listen. The New York Jets are better than us.
Every team is better than us. If the season ended today, we'd have the number 1 draft pick. We are the worst team in the NFL. My bad. 3, 2, 1.
Well, so you should be happy
1,
right now.
2, 3.
Because you're going in a different direction. So got to be pleased with that.
That doesn't mean it's the right direction.
Well, you were definitely in the wrong direction with that guy, and I feel like I might have had a little bit of responsibility in getting him fired because I said bad things on the Sports Bros podcast last week. But it was the right move, I think. Before the season gets too far down the train, then you're at least gonna get a look at your interim head coach, and maybe he's a candidate going forward. We'll find out. So anyway.
Steve Wilkes, we shall see. Y'all want to throw in what y'all looking forward to next week?
Exactly. Yeah. What are we looking forward to next week? I know what I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking past Thursday, and I'm looking at any other game on Sunday because I don't know what the hell's going on Thursday. I don't know what kind of sick joke this is. I'm looking at anything this coming Sunday. I'm not looking at Thursday at all.
Is it Bears and
the Commanders?
No, the Redskin no-name football team Commanders. And when they picked this Thursday night game, when they picked this game, there's no way in the world they thought this was going to be a good game. There's no way possible. There's no way imaginable when they made the schedule that they thought that the Commanders and the Bears would be a good game. Yeah, no, stop it. Jeff Bezos, you owe us a refund, and the NFL owes you a refund because you paid $13 billion for this.
Yeah. All right. So I know that Eddie's going to pick not that game. I'm obviously for me, the game I'm looking to the most is the Sunday night game, the Cowboys at the Eagles for the NFC East lead, which would be also a tie with the Giants. It's going to be interesting because we have this whole Dak, is he coming back, going to play controversy right now, because here's where it's going to get weird. Pay attention, Trey Duke. Here's going to get where it gets weird. Let's say Dak comes back and plays. He's the starter, and they go up to Philly and lose. It's going to be a media story. It's going to be a fan pitchfork story. If Cooper Rush goes up there and loses, they're going to say, hey, he went 4-1 while Dak was out. It's not that bad. But if Dak would happen to go up there and lose, and I think there's a good chance the Cowboys are going to lose this game because Philly's rolling right now. They're on their home turf. Micah Parsons, he's banged up a little bit. I know he says he's okay, but you can't be that bad and gimpy on Sunday and be okay on Tuesday with that pulled groin. Cowboys are a little banged up, but it's always tough to beat your division rival on the road. So I think it's going to be a tough game either way. But I think the Cowboys, they got to go with Cooper Rush one more week and then let Dak heal up another week before they pull him out. That's what I'm looking at this coming week. A couple other big ones on the docket. B.Live, what you got?
Man, oh man, hey, Scottie D, you might be on to something because you got the possible NFC Championship matchup on your side. That could happen. Ooh. That could very well happen. Ooh. My game could very well easily be the AFC Championship, and I see it this way: Buffalo versus Kansas City.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
That's going to be that. I'm literally going to be glued to the TV because I'm not going to be watching the Panthers versus the Rams. I can tell you that much.
Hell no.
It's going to be on the side TV somewhere. But I'm going to tell you a game that's going to be intriguing. I'm going to throw this out here. One that's going to be intriguing. The Jets versus Green Bay.
I agree.
I'm curious about that one. I'm also curious about the Ravens versus the Giants. Those could be sneaky good games. They're actually playing football in New Jersey this year. They're playing good football in New Jersey.
They are. Both teams over 500.
So I'm gonna throw that out there. So, NFL got us all fired up. You know what's got me fired up? Eddy Kool, go ahead and bring a brother in because it's about that time. Woo! Let's get it.
All right, but before we go there, let's talk about some baseball, fellas. Let's talk about some baseball. We got the baseball playoffs. It's that time of the year. The wild card rounds have come and gone, and here we are. We are dealing with baseball. The weather gets cold. The Fall Classic is right around the corner. We're in the middle of October. And so, fellas, I pose a question for you, all right? Now, did y'all like the new wild card 2-3 format for the 4 teams that were involved?
I very much liked the best out of the 3. I thought that made for a nice opening weekend. It was the way they scheduled it is the higher seed got to play all 3 games at home, but it only happened once. The other 3 series out of the 4 series, 3 only went 2 games. Only one, and that was the Mets and Padres went the distance with the road team winning. The Padres knocking off the Mets in a spectacular performance by Joe Musgrove. I mean, that Mets lineup, with the Mets, they fizzled. They look like world beaters about halfway through the season, and for them to whimper out like that. But yeah, I liked it. B.Live, you like that?
I love it, man. Them clean ears, boy. Them clean ears of Musgrove, man. Come on, Mets, cut it.
Yeah.
The Mets. How's that? Timmy Trumpet song. Yeah, we get to hear that from my boy William Contreras, where it started with the Braves, as opposed to that mess with Edwin Diaz and the Mets. I said what I said. Yes, I love what Major League Baseball has done. I love the 3 wild card teams. I love this format. 3, 5, 7. This is is good baseball.
It should have never been 1.
Yeah,
it should have never been 1. One game. Yeah, it should never been that way.
This is perfect. This is perfect baseball. This is exciting baseball. We were watching because the Tuesday going into Wednesday. Watching the games today, the crowd is insane What was my man for the Astros that rocked a 3-run home run walk-off style? They went inside. It's great baseball. It is wonderful to see. And I'm gonna say this on the air. It's gonna be tough to say, but I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna try my best to say it best. I'm a little bit afraid of the Philadelphia Phillies. I think they're going to try to pull what the Braves did last year. Nobody's been talking about them. They've been underdogs. They just snuck their way into the book. They are the second hottest team in all of baseball besides the Braves. Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, the Phillies weren't in the playoffs.
Nope.
And they sort of just right on in there. They said bye to, then they're the 6th seed, took 2 games in St. Louis, took the first game in Atlanta. They are division rivals. Yes, I do not like the Phillies at all. I'm saying this as an unbiased sports fanalist. Somewhat. Sorry, Jermaine Funnyman Johnson. I love that term fanalist. We are fans. But I like that term. The Phillies are dangerous. They're dangerous. My Braves are dangerous too. We got a lot of baseball to go. Phillies, they're going to be dangerous. I also like, you know who I like? I like a little bit of what I like. I like the Mariners going to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the Astros walked off, I think the Mariners are going to fight back. I think that one's going to go to 5. I think that Phillies Braves are going to go to 5. I don't give the Padres much of a chance against the Dodgers. Guardians, Yankees.
Yeah, I do because I think the Padres would be the one team that's not really afraid of them. They're division rival. They're used to playing them. They play them all the time, and they're not intimidated by them. They know that team very well. So I still think the Dodgers win that series. I don't think it's a landslide. If to be honest, before these games started, and Eddie, I think you're going to ask us this, like which team of the 4, like we had what the Braves, Dodgers, Astros, Yankees.
The Braves, Dodgers, the Astros, the Braves, the Dodgers, the Astros, and the Yankees. Yep. All had
first round buys, and I was thinking, we were talking about which of these teams would most likely get upset, and the one that before all this started, the Yankees are the one that I root for, that I was actually thinking would be the most likely candidate, because Cleveland is playing good baseball. And after Aaron Judge, I don't know where the hits are going to come from for the Yankees. Now, as we're speaking, the Yankees are up 4-1 in the 9th inning in their first game. So it's kind of a bias to considering where we are already, having made up this much ground in the early, in the first day. But it's only one game. All that could change tomorrow. You're only in baseball this time of year. Your momentum's only as good as your starting pitching. And the Yankees got great pitching today from Garrett Cole on Tuesday night, and then they got Nestor Cortez going against Bieber. And Bieber's been a pretty doggone good pitcher for the Guardians the last couple of years. So I could, and then it would shift back to Cleveland. If the Guardians get a game in New York, then it goes back to Cleveland, and anything can happen. So. I think the Astros are the least likely, especially having come from behind and putting 5 runs up in the 8th and 9th innings and winning that game. I think they're the least likely. But I could see Cleveland upsetting the Yankees, just because the Yankees have been kind of unsteady with the pitching and hitting coming down the stretch. So, B.Live, are you saying you feel like the Braves would be the most likely candidate to be upset? I mean, you're spotting a game, so I mean it's
hard.
You're down a game.
It's one of those things. With my heart of hearts, I think that my Braves still have they definitely have a fighting chance. They are the hottest team in baseball. They did lose their first game last year against the Brewers, so it's not like they haven't faced controversy before. I think they can come back. I honestly believe that I think you're dead wrong when it comes to the Padres and the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers handle this easily, because you do realize that the Dodgers were up in that same division. They were up by 22 games.
Oh, sure.
They,
Yeah. I mean,
they
like I said,
it was it
I'm
wasn't
fully
close.
expecting that. I'm fully expecting them to win it. But the Padres looked awfully good against the Mets. Again, I mean, it was 3 games, and they've been playing. The Dodgers have to kind of start over. All these number one seeds have all been sitting, not playing baseball, so they have to flip the switch back on and get going again. And that could have been a reason why the Braves had a little bit tough time getting into gear. As we speak, the
They
Dodgers are
almost
up
came
two
back.
nothing. It's early in that game, so the Dodgers evidently are already in gear because they're up 2-0 in the third inning as we are recording here on Tuesday night. But yeah, I'm not saying I think again. I do think the Dodgers will win that series. I'm just saying I think the Padres have as much a fighting chance with them than any other team would.
My candidate for the team that may lose, which is just, I think when it comes to baseball postseason, and we've seen it in the past, especially last year, my Braves, when a team has nothing to lose, I think they're at their most dangerous. The Mariners have nothing to lose. The expectation was not for them to make it to the postseason, let alone get to the division series. And they were up and they outplayed the Astros until the bottom of the ninth. They outplayed them. I think
that's a tough one to drop. Being up 7-3, that's tough.
If they can win one in Houston, playing in Seattle is going to be ridiculously tough right now.
Yeah,
that crowd is going to be super fired up. It's Seattle. They don't have anything else.
That's true.
So my candidate, I think Houston, surprisingly, game 2, they have to win. Houston has to win game 2. I think Seattle wins both at home.
Okay.
So, but we it is postseason baseball. It's October in its purest form. I haven't been this excited about postseason baseball in quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more excited because my team is the reigning defending undisputed national champions, World Series champions, Atlanta Braves.
World Series champions. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
And I did misspeak last week. Last week I said that before the season started, I predicted it was going to be Dodgers Yankees. That's actually not true. I actually picked the Blue Jays to go to the World Series before the season started. That was my preseason pick, and they, along with the Rays, your pick, B.Live, we both went down in round 1. We went down smoking. I think Eddie, you had the Blue Jays with me too, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, I did, and they went down swinging too. So. Time to hit a reset button, fellas. So we got a World Series.
I'm keeping the Dodgers just because they are so dominant. I got to stick with them. And Houston.
Okay, Houston coming out of the American League. All right, I got you. I got let me see. Look at everything. I got Houston coming out of the American League. And as much as I love my Braves, man, it's gonna be tough. Because like B.Live said, you got the Phillies, and then you got the Dodgers, man. So I'm gonna have to go with the Dodgers, man. I'm gonna have to go with the Dodgers because it's just something there about the Dodgers, man.
They're great.
They're great. Yeah, they've been rolling all season, man. They've been going to the playoffs a whole lot these last few years, and they even messed around and won one year. So it's just you can't sleep on the Dodgers, man. I just can't sleep on them. I can't. I love my Braves, but I can't just sleep on them Dodgers like that, man. I can't do it. B.Live, what say you?
I'm gonna be a fan. I'm gonna be a homer. I'm going with an old school 90s, middle, late 90s rivalry. Just have at it. Let's go. Braves versus Yankees.
I'll take it.
I think Seattle beats Houston, but I think the Yankees are just they need. I think the Yankees out of all of the teams need it more than every other team. I think Seattle at some point in time, I think they beat the Astros, but I think they run out of emotional juice against the Yankees. As much as I would like to see the Guardians beat the Yankees, I don't see it. I think the Braves still have the most complete team, and I think they're just young and they're still hungry. And so I think the Braves can overcome. The Dodgers were great last year, and the Braves said, not so fast.
Little revenge factor. We'll see.
Braves, Yankees. That's my World Series pick. All right, you want to now talk about some of my other picks since you went from football to baseball and you want to bring it back to football. I thought you was going to throw me in, but you threw me a curveball. That's what they do in baseball. So I swung and I missed. Strikeout, B.Live. Let's just try it one more time.
Do his thing there, Eddy Kool.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people, ants, salamanders, lizards, giraffes, and monkeys. This is the B.Live Top 5.
Like Chris Berman's fastest 3 minutes. I'm going to bring you the B.Live Top 5 in spectacular fashion. Because what I did this week, I did switch it up for you real quick. Because I have the sinking feeling that people aren't talking about him enough. So I'm going to start at number 5. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Tennessee, the Volunteers. Woo! They've already beaten 3 ranked teams. And they now got that statement game against Alabama. This is the game. This is the game that we should have marked on the calendar because this is going to be big. According to the other poll, number 3 versus number 6. According to my poll, is number 2 versus number 5. Tennessee Volunteers, number 5. Number 4, Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia, when are you going to play somebody that actually matters? I'm so that Kent State and that Missouri still sitting with me. But once again, there's football to be had. They're going to be able to prove their point. Number 3, you already know all roads lead to Dabo, baby. Clemson Tigers, I bleed orange. Man, oh man, did they handle business against Boston College 31-3. They've already beaten 2 top 15 teams in Wake Forest and NC State. Very impressive resume. I don't care what anybody says about the ACC is weak. They're still ranked in the top 15. They've got Florida State this week. Syracuse undefeated. Syracuse is also ranked the following week. Clemson, handle your business here at number 3. Number 2, the Crimson Tide. The reason why I took Alabama from number 1 to number 2 is because is Bryce Young healthy? They are a different team without Bryce Young. So we shall see. They're going to have to face Herndon Hooker and those Tennessee Volunteers. They could easily lose this game. So I took them down from number 1 to number 2, which we now have a new number 1 team in college football. And I'm going to say it with all the disgust that I have in my heart. The Ohio State University at number 1. It's one of those things that I think they have the easiest road traveled. They've been dominant. Their offense has been just nonstop, and that's been without their top wide receiver in Jackson Smith-Njigba. I may have butchered that name, but I want to go ahead and get the top 5 out of my way because for the top performers and the ones that are ranked the highest, there's always going to be those people. There's going to be those teams that are underperformers that have us screaming out, overrated. And I'm going to bring to you, boom, 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 the B.Live not top 5, the teams that you are not who we thought you were, and we will not let you off the hook. Coming in at number 5 this week, they're number 2 in my top 5, but it depends on their quarterback play. So they are just a little bit overrated. The Alabama Crimson Tide comes in at number 5 as overrated. They struggled against, say, Texas A&M team that we really don't know who they are. That same Texas A&M team that lost to Appalachian State. Hey, if they need Bryce Young back with a passion, especially against this young, hungry Tennessee team. When I say young, Herndon Hooker's like 24, about to get his AARP card. He's one of the older quarterbacks in the league. But Alabama comes in at number 5. Number 4. Oh, BYU. This was supposed to be your year to be the king of the independents, and Notre Dame said, not so fast. No, this was your time. That was the game to propel you up to the top and possibly have that conversation with them being in the playoff picture. Nope. BYU, sorry, you are not going to make it. Number 3, the Utah Utes. Come on, bruh. Utah, this is your chance to bounce back after a loss to Florida. You lost it was a non-conference opponent. You had a loss. So you could still win the Pac-12, but you let a basketball school beat you. Another tale of an undefeated basketball school. You know what we were talking about? We were talking about Duke being undefeated at one point in time, North Carolina being undefeated at one time, Kentucky being undefeated at one time, Kansas being undefeated at one time. We forgot about the greatest basketball school with the most titles. That's UCLA. And they are undefeated in football. Utah, this is your chance, and you do it. Number 2, Eddy Kool. I'm going to go ahead and apologize because this team is overrated because you lost to the Cougs. What are you doing? Kentucky. What are you doing? You got these Cougs feeling themselves. They beat a ranked opponent. God. Oh my God. Kentucky. You're on my list for overrated because of that and only that, because it's my list. Come on, bruh. You killing me. But my number 1. I don't think they're ever going to. You know what? They're off my list. They're going to be off my list after this week because you can't be overrated anymore after losing 3 straight games. But when you lose to your rival, by 7 touchdowns, when you lose to your rival and lay a goose egg, like the Gamecocks did last year against Clemson 30-0, but I had to do it. But the Red River rivalry, you scored nothing. You allow Texas to score 49 points. And this is going to be a case of all roads do not lead to Dabo, because Coach Venables, you are on your own, bro. Oklahoma, again, my number 1 overrated, because you can't lose 49-0 in your rivalry game. You just can't do it. I can understand. Here's the thing: Clemson, South Carolina, I can understand. It is what it is. There's a disparity right there. But Texas, Oklahoma, both these teams are supposed to be going to the SEC. Clearly, the momentum for one team is up, and one is in his first year. Granted, he's on his 4th string quarterback because his starting quarterback for this year got hurt, and he lost his 2 quarterbacks, one of them to the Cougs. I have set a record for how many times I mentioned the Cougs this episode. But Oklahoma, number 1, that should be live, not top 5. Fellas, what you think?
I think I'm going to give you my PayPal, first of all. Second, I don't think necessarily winning with a backup quarterback merits a drop 2 spots in the rankings. And that happened. I mean, Georgia and Alabama are flip flopping and seem weekly in the polls anyway. I don't think this year there's a clear cut super dominant team. Last year I thought it was Georgia. This year I don't think it's Georgia. I don't think it's Alabama. I don't think it's Clemson. I don't think it's Ohio State. I think any of those teams are capable of winning a national championship, and I think any of those teams are capable of getting knocked right on out of the top four. It just doesn't seem like there's a every one of those teams seemed at some point vulnerable to me this season so far. I mean, they're all undefeated, but they still all seem like there is some vulnerabilities there. So it just seems a little bit different than in the past, more recent, like say 2-3 seasons recently, where it's like
roll.
Yeah, I just think that there are some vulnerabilities there for all these teams, and it's more open than I think it has been in the past couple of seasons. That's all.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. That Eddy Kool, what you think of that?
You got it spot on about Kentucky being overrated. Yeah, you did. You got it spot on about that. Yeah, you did. You ain't never lied about that one. Yeah, we got them. Yeah.
Yeah, you lost. You beat them with their backup quarterback. So
on the road at their house. And then what was Shane Beamer doing? He turned his hat backwards. He turned his swag on, and he put his shades on. And he was doing some bad dancing.
I can't wait to beat y'all in November. Oh, I can't wait to embarrass y'all. I just want to dance so bad. I want to see some awkward Dabo dancing, because y'all just with this little Kentucky win got y'all feeling. Y'all says Kentucky, do better. I'm gonna say a quick shout.
Kentucky, I love you, baby. Keep on being Kentucky, baby.
To my boy Ty out there, he is a Kentucky fan, and he's also a Green Bay Packer fan. He is struggling this weekend, bruh. I don't know what to tell you. Well, I do know what to tell you. Get over it. At least you're not a Panthers fan. God bless him.
Speaking of Panthers, can I just throw one thing out there? Because it's been a rough season so far for Pitt, having dropped a couple games they shouldn't have. But this past Saturday, Israel Abanikanda ran for 320 yards and 6 touchdowns against Virginia Tech.
Yes, he did.
Whenever you knock Tony Dorsett out of the record books for a single game rush record, you got to get mentioned. And I just got to give a shout out to that. It's not Pitt's dream season by any means, but that was a dream type performance for Abanikanda.
Yeah, you absolutely. I do appreciate you throwing that out there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the B.Live College Football Top 5 and not Top 5. Yes, sir.
So wait a minute. Top 5, not Top 5.
I like that. I'm gonna get my green screen together so you can actually see my hand. Right now.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, college football, man. I'm just because this week is gonna be jam-packed full of some incredible games. I'm so looking forward to some of these games. The rivalry, Clemson, Florida State. Oh, let's get it. Let's go. Like I said, Tennessee, Alabama, bring it. Like that is going to be the game to watch. 3:30 CBS. You've got to watch. And you've got a top 10 matchup in the Big Ten. Number 10, Penn State has been sneaky good this year. They're undefeated going against Big Blue in Michigan at noon. So that's gonna be huge for the direction of who's going to represent in the Big Ten. You've also got Oklahoma State, TCU in the Big 12, 2 undefeated teams. You got NC State, Syracuse. Syracuse is still undefeated. You got Mississippi State versus Kentucky. You got Southern Cal, USC versus Utah late at 8 o'clock. That is going to determine the direction. Can Southern Cal get into the playoffs? They've got to make a statement against the Utes. It's going to be jam-packed, full of college football action. And what we've seen from the pro level, college football is where it's at. Yes, sir. Let's go.
And also on Saturday, we got Jackson State versus Bethune-Cookman. You ain't SWAC. I'm SWAC. You ain't SWAC. I'm SWAC. But we're going to talk about that more towards the end in the round of pepper. But fellas, with college football and everything out the way, looking at my phone because my watch died on me. Guess what time it is?
What time is it? Well, yeah, I think it's about that time. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do it.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's time once again for our favorite portion of the podcast, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming right at you. He ain't SWAC, I'm SWAC. He ain't SWAC, I'm SWAC.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You heard the woman. It is the choices of the voices, where we ask you the question, you give us the answer, and we talk about it right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. And with that being said, Scottie D, what's the question for this week's choices of the voices?
Okay, the question. Well, actually, let me just do a quick shout out. It was Button's birthday on Sunday, so happy birthday to Button.
Happy birthday to you.
The first lady of the Sports Bros Podcast. Okay, so we asked coming in this week, what NFL player who you associate the most long-term with one individual franchise did you find looked the strangest to you when he moved on to a different team? Put on a different uniform. And last week I cited Jerry Rice as an example of a guy who you think of him as like one of the greatest of all time, and you picture him in the 49ers uniform, yet he went to the Super Bowl in a Raiders uniform. In hindsight, it doesn't look as weird to me, but at the time, it had to have been shocking to see Jerry Rice put on a different uniform. So that was kind of what we were at after that type of those type of instances, and we got a lot. Eddy Kool, tell me, what did you see? What do we got here?
First of all, shout out to the almighty B.Live for corralling these answers, because y'all know I got to do that thing called work, and work be getting on my nerves. But that's neither here nor there. So B.Live, 36, you say?
36 responses. I believe this is a Sports Bros record, and we are here for it. 34 of them were legit. There are 2 of them that are just ridiculous, but that's what we do. Let's go. Let's get it. Yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We got Randy Martin. He says Joe Montana in the Kansas City uniform. All right. Then Anthony Wilson, he says Brett Favre in a Vikings uniform. Still doesn't seem right. Neither does Brett Favre in the County Orange. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. All right, move right along. We got
Spice.
Yeah.
Eddy Kool.
Yeah, we got Chris Venable. He said Ricky Jackson in a Niners uniform and Sam Mills in the Carolina Panthers uniform. My favorite Saints players. They had a hellified
quarterback. Let's stop right there.
What?
Sam Mills in a Carolina Panthers uniform. That's what we are. Congrats. I know you're a Saints fan. Yes, he spent a majority of the time there, but he made such a bigger impact with the Carolina Panthers. It's on everything that we do. It's on the drum. It's in the jerseys, everything. Keep pounding Sam Mills. I had to throw that out there. Understand what you say. He made an impact on both franchises, but man, we appreciate him coming over to the Panthers, and he is now a Hall of Famer. And I think collectively, this is the only thing that the Saints, I will say the Saints and the Panthers agree on. Sam Mills is absolutely a Hall of Famer. All right. We got a lot to get to. I had to go ahead and do that.
All right.
But to kind of go along with what you're saying, though, there are some that really fizzled, and it's sad to think of him in another uniform, like Phillip Rivers finishing in a Colts uniform. That was a fizzle. But like Jerry Rice had success in a Raiders uniform, like Peyton Manning did, like Sam Mills did. I mean, there are some successes that like I said, the answers might be a little bit different in hindsight because now you're kind of used to picturing some of these guys in both of those uniforms because of the success.
Right.
Although I still think Peyton Manning's a weird looking one in the Broncos, even though
let's not bring that up. We just talked about it.
Okay, fair enough. Good on back to the list here. Yeah, I digress.
All right, struck a nerve. Yeah, Ricky Jackson, I think it was Pat Swilling and Sam Mills. They were a ferocious linebacker trio in New Orleans back in the 80s. All right, Corey Turner, he says Jerry Rice in a Raiders uniform, as you said.
Wasn't that far. I'm sorry, I had to say Sam Mills didn't play in the 80s. It was
the 90s.
It was yeah.
Okay, early 90s. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought the 80s, but anyways, Corey Turner says Jerry Rice in a Raiders jersey, as we just said. Jose Izirini, he said Ed Reed in a Jets jersey. I damn near forgot about that one.
Yeah, me too.
Jose, I'll say his name properly. Irizarry. That's my dude. I had to say, and that is a very good answer because all of us forgot about him in a man.
Definitely.
Oh man. But yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right, my man Javier Powell from Chucktown. He said Peyton Manning in a Broncos uniform. B.Live, I'm gonna skip it. All right, Corey Turner. He also had another one. He said Richard Sherman in a 49ers uniform. Danny Wilson, he said Rod Woodson in that Steelers uniform. Blah. Danny is a lifelong Steelers fan. Yes, he is. Right.
Ravens.
He's the Raider. Yeah. I was about to say him and a Steel. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. Rod Woodson in a different uniform was kind of different. Yeah. So Rod Woodson in a Baltimore uniform. Blah. That made Danny sick. Understandably so. Magdalene Herring, she said Joe Montana. She's referencing to Joe Montana going from the San Francisco colors to the Kansas City colors. All right. Ramon James, he said Tony Dorsett in a Broncos uniform.
That's my older brother. He's a diehard Jaguars fan. He's a diehard Florida State fan. Boy. Yeah.
But that's a great answer, and it gets worse. Read the next one.
Oh,
and then I'm going to chime in.
Oh, boy. I think I hear Scott's guts bubbling in the background. Heath Brady said Emmitt Smith in a Cardinals uniform.
Ooh, buddy, get it. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
I tell you, both of those hurt. The Tony Dorsett thing, it just looked weird. And I can remember the reason that happened is because the Cowboys brought Herschel Walker in, and he was playing really well and made Dorsett expendable towards the end of his career. And Emmitt Smith, the reason he moved on is because the Cowboys had Troy Hambrick, and he wasn't that good. And I really think Emmitt was mistreated his last year in Dallas, where he wasn't given as many opportunities because they were trying to phase in the younger guy, and Emmitt still had a little tread on the tire. But picture Emmitt Smith in a uniform, a Cardinals uniform. It's just not right. That him and Tony Dorsett, two of the greatest running backs of all time, both Cowboys, and neither one ended their career in a Cowboy uniform. Oh, painful. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I was like, what in all of the hell is going on? All right, who we got next here? We got my man Jamar Moultrie. What's going on, brother? He said, my man Randall Cunningham in a Vikings jersey.
Good one.
Very much so.
Yeah, he can still throw that damn ball, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. We can throw the hell out that damn ball. Heath Brady, he comes back with another. He said retired Barry Sanders, and has a picture of Barry Sanders in street clothes.
What? He retired way too soon. Detroit Lions, man. Him and Megatron, you had bona fide. Like literally, you could almost make the argument best running back of all time, best wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice, yes. Yeah, but Megatron, if he
yeah.
Ugh.
That's what happened when you mishandle situations. So Detroit hashtag do better, like Jerome Booger. Anyways, Matty Ice, my man Matt Gillespie, he said Joe Hayden, formerly of the Browns, in a Steelers uniform. That looked odd too. Speaking of Herschel Walker, Patrick Wilson said Herschel Walker in a suit running for Senate. Good one. All right.
Can of worms. Can of worms.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, this next one's an interesting one.
Yeah, Houston Lewis Jr., he said Steve Smith in a Baltimore Ravens uniform. Yeah, it looked odd. Seeing Steve Smith
move along.
Yeah, it just
okay.
We're not gonna talk about. I'll hush. Okay,
remember how weird that was?
It
was so weird.
Again, we're not talking about that move
it's
alone.
Like when you think about him, you think about a Carolina Panthers uniform, and then he had a Ravens one on, and that was very, very weird. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Brian Randall, he also said Emmitt Smith in the Cardinals uniform. Brian Lovell said Franco Harris in a Seahawks uniform.
Yeah, that's Brian Lovell. He's a Pittsburgh guy. And Franco in the Seahawks uniform was definitely a weird one.
Well, with that big old bird on the side of his helmet. Just, all right. So Big Mike Clarity, he said Randy Moss in a Raiders and a Titans uniform. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
He was in a Titans uniform. I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, for like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. All right, we got Stan Sagely. What's up, Stan? He says, I mean, there's a lot, but being a Dirty Bird fan, Matty Ice in a Colts uniform has me feeling some type of way. I was watching that on Thursday night. I was like, it look a little different, but I'm glad you're not in the NFC South no more. All right, so here we go. We got Trey Dizzle. He said, obviously, Emmitt Smith wearing a Cardinals uniform was nauseating, but it's probably going to be upsetting when Cooper Rush is playing for another team while our backup quarterback, Dak Prescott, stays in the silver and blue.
Here we go. Here we go. You already knew it. We have this segment. I'm just for him. Trey Dizzle. Thank you, because I feel like between you, Uncle Max, a few others, we get a response. For how long have we been doing this segment?
We've done 4 years now.
It's like
since the beginning.
Yeah.
I got to realize, when did we start this segment? This is like easily within the first 10 episodes, 15, 20 maybe?
Yes, it was our listener interaction. And then Scottie D was like, what's called the choices of the voices, and up and running. And then there was button, and then here we are, the choices of the voices. Oh, man. Yeah, so Trey Dizzle cutting up like that. All right, JR, he also said Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Emmitt Smith all in different teams' jerseys. Rodney
Hang on, we did miss one there.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
we have a cheesehead, and she's also chiming in on.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Brett Favre.
Yeah, oh boy.
Yeah, Trina Dunn went with Brett Favre. But what do you guys think was weird, of seeing him in the Jets uniform or the Vikings uniform?
The Jets.
He says the Jets. I say the Vikings because it was the same division.
Yeah, it was the
same division. Like they were rivals.
Yeah,
But that's another one. In hindsight, he doesn't look great in purple. But when he went to the Jets, he had just snapped like the all-time quarterback's streak of most consecutive games played without missing.
Yeah,
and now he's wearing a Jets uniform, and forget the fact that he actually had on a Falcons uniform first.
That too.
Favre wore 4 different jerseys.
Wow!
But
yes.
But to me, the Jets one's the weirdest one. I think I kind of got a little bit used to, because I think Brett Favre's thing was, when he left Green Bay, he wanted to go to the Vikings. He savored the opportunity to get back at Green Bay for allowing him to leave. But the only way to get there was to go to the AFC first and then go from the Jets to the Vikings. No way, the Pack wasn't going to let him go to in the same division.
They drafted his replacement well before he was done.
Yeah.
And they did it again.
But Brett kept flirting with it. Brett kept saying, I'm about to be done. I'm going to be done. I'm going to be done. And so they were prepared. Aaron Rodgers, he's still signing long-term contracts. That was really stupid to do that Jordan Love thing. But we're getting a little off track. But the Brett thing, we all kind of agree that the Green Bay uniform, if it's not that, it's weird.
Right.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right, JR, he also said Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Emmitt Smith going from the 49ers to the Chiefs, the Colts to the Broncos, and the Cowboys to the Cardinals. Rodney Bellamy, he said Jerry Rice in the Seattle uniform, and I remember this one, Thurman Thomas in a Miami Dolphins uniform within the division.
That made zero. That definitely just that wasn't it.
No,
it wasn't it.
That ain't it, player. Let's see. Then he also said, "Oh, I like this too." Jason Taylor, hey, Joey Taylor. Jason Taylor as a Jet after spending all those years in Miami. That was a weird one too. All right. Then we got Corey Logren. He has a picture of Joe Montana in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. Brian Lovell comes back again. Wait a minute.
That's a double one. That's okay.
Double, baby.
Broncos, Seahawks, yeah.
Did he respond on both posts? I didn't look at that.
Possibly.
Yeah. We gonna get you on the show. I appreciate the love from we share all over the place because we want your interaction. Thank you all.
Yeah, and Sean Connors has the best one where he has Ryan Fitzpatrick in 11,000 jerseys. All right. He first
none of those were weird. He was just a journeyman.
Yeah,
fix magic, baby. You gotta love it.
I can't even when I picture him. I can't even tell you who I picture him. What uniform mid?
Yeah, which one was this original jersey? I first thing I think of the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins.
I think of
the Bills because he had the Bills at 3-1 and they gave him a big contract, and then I think the Bills ended up like 4-12 or something. Like it went downhill like as soon as he got the contract, went down in a hurry. But
I think the Dolphins were the one that Fitzmagic was born though.
But that's where he finished. That was with the whole Tua situation.
No,
wiped him out down there.
Yeah. He also so we're looking at the picture right here. Started with the Rams, then to the Bills, then to the Bengals, then to the Titans, then to the Texans, then to the Jets, then to the Buccaneers, then to the Dolphins, and finally the Washington football skin team Manders. That's what
okay.
Yeah.
So that picture actually has them in order then. Okay.
You can't see it, but there it is right there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And Craig Burns mentioned him too. He said he looked strange every time he saw him in a new uniform, but he got over it by the second quarter because it became normal.
Yep. All right, so we got Tom Wynn. He said Johnny Unitas wearing a powder blue Chargers uniform because when you think of Johnny U, you think of that flat top haircut, them high top cleats, and the Baltimore Colts jersey. All right. Yep. We got Katie Small. She said Tom freaking Brady. Yeah, still not happy about that. The best name in the game, JoJo Comfort. He says gotta be Joe Montana for me. That's like 30 for Joe Montana now. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Yep. And we got Uncle Max. He says Brett Favre in a Vikings jersey. The Jets were bad enough, but a Vikings jersey? Come on, man. That was just adding insult to injury to all the Packers fans. Yep.
All right. Let me go ahead and get this out the way. Because Uncle Max, you deserve this one. I posted earlier, and we talked about it earlier in the show. About everybody knows that the Carolina Panthers fired Matt Rule. Good. We understand that. We talked about that, and we're going to continue to talk about it because I'm wearing my Panthers colors because we finally got rid of them. But if you ever get on one of my posts ever again talk about replacing Matt Rule with Urban Meyer, you almost got me banned and in Facebook jail for what I said. I had to retract my statement, but I can say this on the air.
Do I need to hit the dump button?
No. Okay. I got this one.
Okay.
I will not hesitate to fight an old man. This is like in the streets, on site. If you ever pull something else like that, you already know how I feel about Urban Meyer. You almost got me banned on Facebook because I saw nothing but red. I was hot. Oh,
button pushed. Button pushed.
Big Herb.
Uncle Max, I love you and I respect you. You are the Hall of Famer, but please don't ever put me in that position again. Well, I almost went to jail for real.
Almost went to jail for real. All right, so Craig Burns, he also said Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, like you said, Scottie. Yeah, by the second quarter, it was known for him. And we also got a chronological order of the teams he played for. We went from Bareface to Bearded Caveman. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you Carolina might got a void for you. I mean, you can give us about
one more time. One more time, Fitzmagic. I ain't mad at it.
One more time. I know you got something left in the tank.
We literally have nothing else to lose.
Lord Jesus. At one point, B.Live, remember we had Vinny Testaverde. We had to call him off the couch.
I'm just saying, we talked about it earlier. Freaking Baker Mayfield's out for the next couple of weeks with a bad ankle. So we're starting PJ Walker. So, I mean, it is.
Look at Scott. He just do it again, Scott.
Oh man, sheesh.
Oh man, all right.
We are struggling.
I still feel bad for telling you guys that Baker was going to be good there, and I like the Matt Rule hire. Anyway, we
back
on track.
We thought he was going to be good. We thought change the scenery might do good, but
something different. I don't know, but no. We did not hire Sean McVay. He did not hire just keep going. All
right. So here we go. Martin Tracy was talking about Johnny Damon, Roger Clemens, Wade Boggs wearing the Yankee pinstripes doesn't sit right with him, and Jordan wearing a Wizards jersey ain't right. Football.
He said NFL in the question. I think he said it.
Yeah, we're throwing up the X for that one. Wrong, not just wrong sport, wrong sports.
All
on, Matty Ice. You're a Sports Bros veteran, Matty Ice.
That's
you flirt with the penalty box.
No, he ain't. He was put in the penalty box. I did grant him parole, but
Judge B.Live,
he do it one more time. He gonna be right in there with Robert Kraft. He gonna be in there for life. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Do not do it. I told you.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. So here we go. We got Diamond Dave Ramito. He said, sure, Y.A. Tittle would have been strange, but I'm going to roll with Franco. Even more bizarre was watching him compete against Jim Brown in the what?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, they did complete. Yeah, the 2-day challenge. Challenge you event on the field on the television. That was something and Emmett Smith was a close second. I forgot all about that too.
Yeah, I remember they actually had a race, and I think Jim Brown pulled up lane with a hammy or something that. They had a series of competitions, but one of which was the 100-yard dash, and that was it ended up being one of those things that was one of those good ideas that shouldn't have been executed. Like when people get high and say we should do this, and then someone else says, "Yeah, we're going to do that." Better off left to the weed topics. Anyway, continue, Eddy Kool.
Eddy Kool, can I do it one time for the one time?
What?
It's been a long time.
What?
I've been smoking and choking all day. Yeah. I've been smoking. My bad. That is a throwback on top of throwbacks. We're professionals now, but that's
man. All right, so that's a classic there, B.Live. So Matty Ice, Martin Tracy, he said, "Does this get me out of the penalty box?" He said, and didn't you make it for me? He has a Tom Brady hat on with a Buccaneer. He has a Buccaneers hat on, and I think the T-shirt is Tom, Edward, Patrick, Carmichael, Fritz. Yeah, it's a toe up Tampa Tom after the Super Bowl. Drunk Tom Brady. I don't know if y'all can see it, but that's it right there. Yeah, Matty Ice looking like he was in the Super Bowl parade him damn self.
That's why he's in parole. There parole. We go. He's granted parole.
There we go. All right. So Seth Valancey, he said Emmett to the Cardinals, and Jason Dubord said seems to me usually quarterbacks look so much different when they change teams. Montana to the Chiefs, Man to the Broncos, even Brady to the Bucks. It's just something about them in particular that always looks odd, even with newfound success. And then Scott Heinerman says, drum roll please, Montana leaving the 49ers. Yep.
Montana was a pretty popular answer on this one. And yeah, like Jason said there, above that. The Brady, Manning, Montana, like those are all legends. Favre was a legend. Warren Moon, I thought, looked strange in the Viking uniform when he first came out of the Oilers uniform because he was, he was the Oilers. He's like resurrected that franchise whenever he was with that team. But to continue on here, my biggest ones were answered: Emmitt Smith and Tony Dorsett, and it seemed to happen a lot with running backs. We already heard Franco Harris mentioned. Thurman Thomas was mentioned. Edgerrin James switched over, went to the Cardinals. You think of him as a Colt. Eddie George, you think of as a Titan, played a year with the Cowboys at the end of his career. O.J. Simpson in a 49ers uniform, he's a Buffalo Bill. Marcus Allen. See, Marcus Allen's one of those guys that had success with the Chiefs as well as the Raiders, and he switched over. But one that didn't get mentioned, and I'm just going to throw this one out there, and it wasn't quite as shocking to me as Emmitt in the Arizona one, was LaDainian Tomlinson wearing a Jets uniform at the end of his career. That did not seem right to me because LaDainian Tomlinson is a Charger through and through, one of the greatest running backs of all time, and he should never change. It's like the greatest. It happens to the greatest running backs. It's crazy, but those are some of mine. B.Live, share your thoughts. I know this was a sore subject from the moment I mentioned it to you.
Oh, without question, because it's one of the reasons that I am who I am and what I do is what I do is because of the whole team changing and all this stuff. This is going to be all homer picks for me. One of mine was mentioned by my I call him my big bro, I'm Houston Lewis. He says Steve Smith in a Ravens jersey. That broke my heart. I ain't even gonna lie. That was just like, that don't even sound right. Why did we not sign him again? All of the above. In that same line, Cam Newton in a Patriots jersey. What the hell? None of that looked right. His helmet didn't even look right with all the braids. It was sitting high, like all right. Yes. None of it made sense. But
as far as Cam goes, though, the dude looked goofy every week, no matter what. He always wore something weird. So,
here we go.
So just a different helmet.
Did not ask you any of your.
Continue on.
Thank you.
Please continue.
Sorry,
Please
thank
continue.
you. Because I didn't ask. I didn't ask for an amen. None of that. Didn't ask for a selection from the choir.
Wow.
But the one that got me though is the reason that my jersey, my Carolina Panthers jersey, has B.Live on the back as opposed to any other jersey, because I've only bought one other player jersey my entire life. And this was back in 2003 when I bought it. I bought me a Julius Peppers Carolina Panthers jersey. We made it to the Super Bowl. We didn't. We lost. Adam freaking Vinatieri, John Casey kicking the ball out of bounds. But when Julius Peppers went to the Green Bay Packers right after that,
I got sick in my mouth. Mm-hmm.
I said I took my jersey back where I bought it, and that was the last jersey I ever bought that was any other player besides myself. Every other jersey that I have purchased has B.Live on the back because I will never leave my team. I was very close. We've talked about this ad nauseum. The Panthers did get rid of Matt Rule, as I've said before. But I want to emphasize, I'm going to keep pounding Sam Mills, Carolina Panthers, until I die. Panthers Nation for life. Keep pounding for life. Eddy Kool, what you got for us?
Too legit to quit. I did it right. Okay. For me, Steve Smith was number one, and it's like, damn, you got to leave. And then he said, it's going to be blood and guts the next time I see y'all. And it was just, and I'm just looking at doggone Jerry Richardson like, you happy now? jackass. You happy now? The man killed us. Killed us. But out of all those, the one particular one that stuck out for me was Adrian Peterson. I thought Adrian Peterson was going to be a forever Viking, like wrapping up his career, Hall of Fame, like Viking through and through. Like who that was had an uninterrupted career with the same team. Kind of like how Kobe was with the Lakers. I thought that was going to be the same thing for Adrian Peterson. But boy, was I wrong, because he went from the Vikings to
the Saints,
to the Cardinals, to the football,
to the Lions, I think first, and then the football.
Yeah,
team.
Lions, and then the football team. And just seeing Adrian Peterson, like, oh, there's Adrian Peterson, but it's not purple and gold. I'm like, man, what the? Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, Adrian Peterson just stuck out like a sore thumb. With that being said, yeah.
He fell off the cliff whenever he left the Vikings too. It was kind of sad.
Yeah, clean off the cliff. All right, and that does it for another edition of Choices of the Voices. Shout out to all 5011 of y'all. We greatly appreciate it. Yeah.
Shout out to everybody. Y'all know we mentioned everybody. 36 responses.
Yep.
And man, loved every bit of it. It was actually very refreshing to see all the participation. Scottie D, hey, you hit the nail on the head with this question.
Good
Eddy
job.
Kool.
That was a fun one.
All right, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week's Choices of the Voices?
All right, I'm actually a little bit late on this because of a few weeks ago we saw the butt punt, which brought back memories of the butt fumble. And then there's another humorous incident we discussed last week with Metcalf being carted off the field with an intestinal issue. So there's been a little bit of humor on the field. So we're going to ask you to give us one of your funniest moments that you've seen on the field in an NFL game. I mean, however you want to size up, whether it's a butt fumble, a guy that got to take a dump ski on the field ski, and if I can encourage you to forget any Leon Lett incidents, leave him off the field, leave him out of this conversation, anything like that. Give us something that you find was really funny that happened on an NFL field, and that will give us something to talk about next week, Eddy Kool.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, we're going to do this pepper style. We got a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really, here to engage, enlighten, educate, and entertain. The 4 E's that are essential to your everyday life. Yes, I got it right. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and go first. On this day in history, back in 1920, the Baseball World Series. The Cleveland Indians beat the Brooklyn Robins 8-1 at League Park for a 5-2 series victory, and it wins the Indians' first championship. So, back in 1920, the Indians, who now known as the Guardians, won their first ever world championship. Over to you, Scottie D.
Right. The Indians Guardians. Still getting used to that.
Yep.
Well, on an October night back in 2007, the Yankees were in town to play the Cleveland Indians, and they had a lead in the 8th inning that disappeared thanks to the Lake Erie Midges. Well, this coming weekend, the Yankees are going to be back in Cleveland, and guess who's also going to be there?
The Midges.
The Lake Erie Midges. They showed up at in Cleveland this past weekend, and there's a possibility that they could again show up in the game between the Yankees and the Indians. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it greatly affected the game because the Yankees were in the 8th inning, had a lead, and Jabba Chamberlain was on the mound. And all of a sudden, he swarmed. And I remember they showed that they had these little bugs in his hat and on his face and all over his neck. And the Yankee trainer came out and was spraying him with bug spray in the middle of the inning, and it was just chaos. And Jabba then uncorked a wild pitch. The Indians tied up the game, would go on to win the game and the series. And that was one of those just strange moments you just never forget when you're watching sports. Like, whoever would have thought these bugs would come out of nowhere and affect the game, a Yankee game, nonetheless. But how ironic it is that the story surfaced this week. The midges are showing up again in Cleveland, in the football stadium, and now as the Yankees are coming to town this weekend, some old friends may also be there sharing the stadium with them. So, just I wanted a little quick trip down memory lane and seeing how it parallels with today. B.Live, over to you.
And a quick update, Scotty. The midges are here already. They're on my car. They're on the front door. They meet me out on the way to work. I wish they would go somewhere and just die. Like die, midget, die. Just they the most useless bug in the animal kingdom. Go ahead, B-Live. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Oh man, I'm gonna do a little for my first pepper point. I'm gonna do a little local highlight. A star here in the Fayetteville greater region here. And he goes by the name of Landon Sargent. I'm going to give you just a little bit of detail about him. He's a middle linebacker and a defensive end. He comes in at 6'3" tall, weighing at 225 pounds.
Wow.
He's benches 315 squat, 405 pounds, deadlift 525 pounds. Does a clean lift of 285 pounds. Now, when I say he's a local talent, when I give you those stats, what level do you think he plays at?
He's a high school kid or he's in college?
This is a high school junior.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Class of 2024. He's a 3-sport athlete at Cape Fear High School. First of all, I remember this. When did he grow? Me and his dad, JP, me and him bowled back in the day, and I've seen Landon as a child, and when I saw a picture of him standing next to his dad, I'm like, that's a grown man standing next to you. What happened? But man, seeing some of his highlights, this dude will light you up on the football field, and man, I am excited and hoping to see him on the next level. Landon, your boys at the Sports Bros podcast, we support you, man. Hey, make it happen. Yes, sir. Eddy Kool. Boom! The ball.
All right, and here I am with my favorite story of the entire weekend going throughout the week. And every time I turn around, this onion has more layers to it. Now, as most of you may know, the legendary quarterback, Hall of Fame cornerback Deion Sanders is the coach at the Jackson State University, right? And which is, historically black college, is located in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, also known as the SWAC Conference, okay? So there was a video surfacing Saturday, a post-game interaction between Deion Sanders and Alabama State head coach Eddie Robinson Jr., not related to the legendary Eddie Robinson. And it was some pushing and shoving going on, right? So when I originally saw the video, I listened to it about 3 or 4 times to make sure I didn't miss anything. So according to the Montgomery Advisor, come take a ride with me, all right? All right, so here we go. Let's go from the top. Following the Alabama State football 26-12 loss to Jackson State, Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. rejected a hug from Jackson State coach Deion Sanders after the post-game handshake, citing a lack of respect from the Tigers and their coach throughout the week, all right? After the game, the two coaches shook hands. Before Sanders tried to go in for a hug, Robinson stiff-armed him. He pushed him back before leaving the field. Sanders held up his palms in confusion after the interaction, and here's what he had to say, Coach Robinson. I thought there was a lot of disrespect the whole week. And so you're not going to be disrespectful all week in the media. We didn't talk in the pregame. I was out there the whole time at the 50-yard line. He walked through our huddle on our end zone. He came a long way around to get to his side during the pregame, and that wasn't classy at all. Postgame, I'm not going to give you the Obama hug, bro, the Obama bro hug. I'm going to shake your hand and go on. I'm always going to be respectful and respect the game. I'm living on the shoulders of the SWAC. He ain't SWAC. I'm SWAC. So he's in the conference doing a good job. You can't knock that. You're not gonna come here and disrespect me, my team, and my school, and then want to bro hug me, shake my hand, man, get the hell on. He said, and then Coach Robinson later said, "You got the W, great job." And then he said this: "I pray that he don't get a Power 5 job, and we play them next year in Jackson. I pray that they put us for their homecoming." And then he said, "I pray that we'll beat them." Then he went on and said, "We ain't friends. He ain't never called me. I ain't never called him. Great player. Everybody wants to be like Prime when they're a little kid." Play against him. Got tons of respect for the guy doing a great job as a coach, but you can't do all that stuff all week and then come back and put your backup quarterback in and run a hitch and go and try to put more points on the board. You want to do that? Then don't come try to bro hug me like we're friends. We ain't friends. You didn't shake my hand before the game. Why are you shaking my hand after the game? So come to find out that Jackson State, they got there late, and early that week that Jackson State requested parking passes and tickets and didn't get it. There was a lot of trash being talked back and forth. I didn't have Deion Sanders' reaction pulled up, but he's like, you know what Deion Sanders said? "If I ain't SWAC, baby, who is SWAC?" And then as of today, Deion Sanders came into a team meeting with a hoodie that says, "I am SWAC." Deion Sanders, the ultimate in marketing, not only for the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but for HBCUs across the country. Who's SWAC? Coach Prime is SWAC. So, this little rivalry between Deion Sanders and Eddie Robinson Jr., it's going to be a good one, because if Deion Sanders don't get that Power 5 job, well, we know who's waiting for him. Over to you, Scottie D.
Just to mention that he literally wears his Instagram
handle
tag,
on
his sweatshirt. Like it says, like if that ain't marketing to its finest, hey man, keep doing what you're doing. It's prime time, baby. But just a little overreaction. They'll be all right, and just more fuel to the fire. Alabama State, the whole state of Alabama, they ain't feeling Jackson State. So, all right, Scottie D, my bad.
Dion also said that he was probably just upset because he thought he was going to win, and I don't know why he thought that.
That was funny. I don't know why he thought that. He thought he was going to win. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, so a little spice there. Speaking of spice, in a press conference on Monday, Ron Rivera was asked why other teams around him were advancing a little bit more than the Commanders are advancing, and his one-word answer was quarterback. Woo! Spice there. Quarterback. If that is not a direct shot at Carson Wentz, I don't know what it is. Now, he went on the rest of the press conference and said nice things, like we want him, we believe in him, but he said quarterback is why the other teams are better than us. Man, I tell you what, there's not a lot that gives me more pleasure as a Dallas Cowboy fan than seeing a team in my own division just really start to backfire upon themselves like that, along with the Steelers being terrible. This is the Cowboys may not win another game this season, but it still might be my dream season. I mean, this is some spicy stuff. I think at the end of the season, there's a good chance that not only does Carson Wentz say goodbye, but Ron Rivera may also say adios. Yeah. B.Live?
I mean, to you. Does Carson Wentz have a good chiropractor? Because after that bus was ran all over his back, God, he said quarter. That's ruthless.
Didn't hesitate.
I saw that and I clenched my butt cheeks and I was like,
ow.
And it wasn't even like in the heat of the moment. It was the next day, and he was calm. And
said, quarterback.
Very calmly.
Like all right. So I'm gonna switch over to a little bit of basketball for my second pepper point, because NIL, kids making money off their name. Well, there's one famous kid in high school right now that everybody's talking about with recruiting and everything. He's got offers from Kentucky, Memphis, Michigan. There's actually still a standing offer from the Ohio State. Oregon, and Southern California, USC. And I'm talking about none other than the son of King James, Bronny James. He is one of 5 players that inked an NIL deal with the aforementioned Oregon University alum Nike. Nike has signed Bronny James to an NIL deal. I think that is genius because now all he has to do is actually perform in college and in the pros. God, those are some tough shoes to fill. But I also want to mention that the teams that have not extended an offer to Bronny James, they want no parts of it, are your blue bloods of Duke, Kansas, and North Carolina. They're like, we're good. We don't need that circus. And North Carolina, they don't recruit like that. They do get some high profile talent, but not, they're like, all right, we good. Bronny James, go to Southern Cal. You're already there. You're in LA. Dad's in LA. Southern Cal would be the best place for him. Don't go. Ohio State, they ain't gonna be able to treat him right. I'm just saying that, but he might end up at Ohio State, Akron, Ohio, blah, blah, blah. Eddy Kool, that's around your area up there. Mm-hmm. I could care less about Ohio State. I said what I said. Eddy Kool. The ball.
All right, the ball. And a little bit of self-promotion here with my third and final pepper point. Check me out on WOBL Radio this coming Friday night. I'll be co-hosting along with my co-host Nikki Lynn, the Myrna Law halftime show, where we say, welcome to the halftime show presented by Myrna Law, where you win, we win, get paid, because who doesn't want to get paid, right? Me and Nikki Lynn will be going over all the scores and the highlights all over high school football in Lorain County. Even if you don't live in Ohio and you want to support your boy, I'm gonna tell you how to tune in, right? All right, so go to WOBLradio.com. All right, listen to the game up until halftime, and you get to hear us on the halftime show. And if you don't have access to a computer, download the Gold Country Cool Cat app on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And thank you to everybody that support me. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, from the sports bros to everybody up here in Ohio, to everybody in South Carolina, to everybody all over that's been supporting me. I love you. Thank you. And I appreciate it. And to those of you that aren't supporting me or just straight up player hating, keep on listening, baby. Keep on listening. Over to you.
Player hating, huh?
Hating on the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hey.
All right. Here's one for the haters and videos that are surfacing. Oh man, a little early NBA action. We had a little video show up of Draymond Green in practice with the Dubs, and he wasn't pulling down rebounds. He was throwing punches. Apparently, he had some words for Jordan Poole, his teammate. He walked over, got into his face. Poole didn't like none too much, him invading his personal space, so he gave him a little shove, and Draymond responded with a punch in the face. Now, Draymond, you are 32 years old, dude. You're in practice. You're not at the club with your boys and getting in somebody's face over a chick. This is your teammate, man. Draymond Green's act is running thin. I don't know what his status is going to be going forward, if there's going to be suspensions, fines, all that. I'm sure there should be and probably will be. But this is a guy who's a little bit past his prime, and he seems to be doing things to hang on to be relevant. Draymond, this is not a good look. You're a guy that wants to be on TV and have people like you, and this is not the way to get people like you. Picking on a guy that everybody else likes, who's not like one of the main guys. He's just like a guy who's probably looking up to you. You're a champion. Act like one. Act like you've been there before, Draymond. If you got a problem with this guy, talk it over. That's your teammate. Again, you're not a 21-year-old punk. You're obviously a 32-year-old punk. And now your mama's getting involved, too, on her social media accounts. Draymond, shut the circus down. Go back to work. Squeeze a few more bucks and maybe another title out of this career of yours, and then ride off into TNT when Charles decides to hang it up. You're about to mess this up, Draymond, because right now We don't even like you. Well, I don't. Anyway, Draymond plays in the same league as the Lakers, and I'd already mentioned the Cowboys and Yankees in this episode, so I just wanted to mention the Lakers as well. B.Live, over to you.
Hey, Draymond, you see these right here, buddy? You got some of these in your beer.
Gray.
Right?
Yeah, we're all gray.
So, Draymond, when you start getting these, you need to start acting age appropriate.
You're a grown man. Come on, Draymond. Punches and practice.
I said, Scottie D, a grown ass, rusted, dusty man. What are you doing?
Okay. Draymond Green, I'm going to apologize for their behavior because as a fellow podcaster, hopefully one day we can actually talk about this on your podcast. But I think you have a few more listeners than we do. So I'm going to be the voice of reason. These two guys are ridiculous. I believe in you, Draymond. I believe in you. Just call a brother up. Put me on your show.
Do better, Draymond.
I hope you really don't believe that because I'm being extremely sarcastic. But I would like to be on the show. But this across the board, do better. I'm going to say this. We mentioned one incident earlier in the show where we mentioned Devontae Adams. He pushed the guy.
Why?
Pushed the cameraman. He later apologized for it, and I believe it's genuine. But I need people to grow what I call the hell up. Now the guy is filing a police report and all this stuff and filing assault charges because he walked in front of a football player that just played 60 minutes and was upset. I think if you're on the football field, you should understand some of the risks involved. Now, if there was injury involved, I'm pretty sure they could have discussed that behind the scenes. He would have taken care of it. But to file assault charges, what are you trying to accomplish? But that's actually not my pepper point. My third and final pepper point, and I'm going to say this loud and proud. If you break the law, you should not have any rights. I'm going to say that a little bit louder. If you are currently in the act of breaking the law, your rights should be revoked. I.e., if you're trespassing, quote unquote, protesting, and you get laid out by anybody, security, football player, et cetera, you do not have the right to file assault charges and a police report and sue. But this silly ass fan who ran on the field during the Monday night game between the Rams and the 49ers, the previous Monday night, he wants to file a police report because Bobby Wagner tackled him on the field because he was running around protesting with his pink freaking smoke. He was protesting. I'm not even going to give him the platform here to say what he was protesting because you were breaking the law. You were trespassing. And that's people that break the law and then turn around because they got hurt while breaking the law and turn around and file a report and assault and try to sue are the worst type of human beings known to man. No, you're not entitled to protest because you're not entitled to trespass just because you're protesting. That is not a public space on the field. You didn't have access to be on the field. And so when, hey, we're trying to get back to the football game, boom, get out the way, get off the field. Man, boy, oh my Lord.
You deserve it.
You deserve every bit of it. I wish he'd have hit him with his helmet. I wish he would have Von Taze Burfict like did Antonio Brown and freaking concussed him for real. Because this is ridiculous. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Stupid. Get off the field. God. these weak people, this weak. I don't understand it. Like I wish. I just, oh my goodness.
You know what? I never understood it. Like you guys remember during the NBA playoffs last year, was it the Timberwolves versus the Grizzlies? Was it Grizzlies? I think. But anyways, somebody like what? Everything is costly nowadays with inflation. Everything is high as hell, high as California gas prices, California milk, and California bread. All right. Everything is real high as hell. Why are you going to spend your hard-earned money, damn near courtside seats or real nice seats? Hey, I'm going to pick this time to protest and delay the game because my message has to be heard that much. Ain't you got Twitter? Ain't you got social media? I mean, hell, it don't cost them to start a damn WordPress. Like, I just don't understand the logic in paying that much money to sit there for like a quarter and a half, protest. It's just, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's something on this generation. This generation. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to put everything on social media. What really makes me itch is they want to put everything on social media. I want to be seen. My booty itch. I stubbed my big toe. My mama left me. My daddy can't stand me. My breath stink. My ass stink because I ain't washing. We don't need to know everything. We don't need to know everything, though. We just spare us. Because we don't give a damn about everything in your life. It is not that important. Your life is not that happening. It's not that popping. In the words of the money man, Scottie D, and this goes to you too, Jerome Boger, do better. Do better. I'm sorry, fellas. I don't know where that came from.
It's okay. I understand it.
This had to get off.
Yeah, it's like, and like Scottie D likes to say at this moment of time, and then closing, And to the two punks in Walmart, I haven't set foot in the store in forever. I used to do online shopping, trying to prank me, saying that security wants me because I'm stealing in Walmart. Oh, it's a prank, dude. It's a prank. I'm like, man, if you don't take your little short behind, get off of me. Leave hell alone. You almost caught an elbow for real. But if you're gonna put me on TikTok, it's your boy B.Live, the Almighty B.Live, 1/3 the Sports Bro podcast. Yes, sir. And in closing, that's my bad.
For the money man, Scottie D, for the Almighty B.Live, just be your boy Eddy Kool. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They're greatly appreciated now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden, because there's enough of that mess going on. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. Look at that beautiful logo. And with that being said, B.Live, get us up out of here.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye. Good night. Take care. And thank you for listening and watching the Sports Bros podcast. Click the link in the description box and follow all of us on the platforms. We love you. Goodbye. Good night. See you next week. Hey, it's Eddy Kool here from the Sports Bros podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros podcast in your life? Wait a minute. Don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.